Okay, hi. We're gonna do to show how to export stem files from an ALP package. Let's open that up in Live. Purpose of this tutorial is to show when you open up a file like this. I'm gonna go here. I'll just extract it to desktop for now. Let's make a new folder. I'm going to call it temporary. Okay. Alright, see, it's copying everything from that package that was exported, and it's going to throw all those things into a folder on the desktop. Now the idea here is, or the objective rather, is to get all those stem files from one row or one song into another package, or into another DAW, like Logic, for instance. So what we're going to do is, after this is done processing, I'll be back. I'll explain more. Our Ableton Live package is now finished uploading or rendering all the files and exporting them. So now we're going to go under that desktop, under that folder called temporary, and let's open up that Ableton Live session file, which is done just by double clicking on it. So what you see here is all your rendered songs. You can either go from the session view and do the longabout way, which is grabbing each individual one and then dragging them to where you want them to go, which is fine, and you'll still hear all the samples and everything's still in there as a normal, which is rendered for the full length. But this can be tedious, and if you don't want to do that, the easy way to do it is with all the arrangements that I go and I send out over here. In your arrangement view, you can look over here, and I've got, make that full screen so you can see. Here's the whole song layout. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to press Function F10, which is essentially the same thing as going here and going View, or going to, actually, I don't know, I think it's a secret command. Anyway, the point of what it is that what it does is when you press F and F10, it goes and re-enables the entire song and everything back to arrangement view. So what I'm going to now press is go and select and highlight all the areas of my arrangement that I want to. And since this is already grouped, this is real nice to do. You can just drag along the top and it'll automatically select everything in that group. So I've selected now the region that I want to be exported, but you know what, just for good measure, let's give that extra little dead space that I had in the beginning, just so that in case you need to cut it up later when we export it. So now there's two ways of going about exporting it. You can go to File, and then go to Export Audio/Video, or you can press the Command key, Shift Command R, which is usually what I do. Anyway, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to click the button. So now we have our area selected, which automatically, you can see the range here is from 1 all the way over to 134 measure. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to make that 1-1 so everything's correct and normal. So I'm going to go and select, instead of master, which would render everything as one audio track, I'm going to go and select individual tracks, which means that it's going to export all my different channels individually into a file. So you'll have like several different MP3s or waves or whatever you select as your for each channel. So in this instance, I'm just going to click a WAV file, and even though it was rendering the audio at 44100 for when I was listening to it, I'm going to render it at 4800. Unless you want to time warp it later, then I would suggest 9600 or however high you want. It's up to you. Just bear in mind that the higher that you go in the bit rate, you're also going to have, at the same time, when higher you go, the bigger your file format's going to be, because you're going to have more bits per second. So I'm just going to select 4800 as a good medium, just something that I'm not going to be time stretching later, so that's what I'm going to pick. The rest of the options, don't worry about it. You can select it as I have it, but it's not too big of a deal. I wouldn't say to pick anything else. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and click Export. Now I'm going to pick a connection or a place to where to put them. So I'm going to go under my desktop and go under the temporary folder. And I'm just going to make a new folder. Let's just call it Endless Praise Stems. So I'm going to go here and click Save. Now it's going to render that audio at 4800 Hertz because, like I said, my previous recording was all at 4100. It's going to render all that audio at 4800, and now export every single individual one, which you can start seeing now being populated under, you go up here under my temporary, it was under my desktop, my temp folder, and endless parade stem. So you can see them all being populated right there. So Ableton is done, and now if you go and you can click through them and you can go and listen to your audio tracks, all with their corresponding patches all included, also all their sounds. So now since we all rendered it at the same length, it'll be really easy to later export it into a different DAW. I'm going to show, just for this sample's sake, because I don't have Logic or any other Pro Tools or something. I'm an Ableton guy, so I'm going to open up a new Ableton session and just show you essentially what you'd be doing in any other DAW. There might be some other corresponding things like that it might not be as easy as dragging and dropping, but for the most part, this is what you're going to do. Let's grab one of our endless praise here. This is our drum track. We're going to drag that in there. And then I'm going to grab here, and I'll grab the next one. The same thing, just as long as they all start at the same point, because like we said, we picked all the regions to start and end at the exact same time. So now since they're all exported at the same length, they all should match up in the end, since they've all been activated for the same exact length. As you can see, every single one starts and ends exactly where we want, and if we zoom in here, we can see that yes, it was like we selected right around that 135 note. So overall, that's correct, and that's the way you can listen back to your track. Just to show you how it works, I'm going to just continue to drag these in here to show you. And just always remember you're creating an audio track and dragging them in there, so you don't look like an idiot like I just did, making a MIDI track, and then trying to convert the audio into harmonies, and that just doesn't work. So anyway, there's all your tracks. Press play. There's that dead space that we had at the beginning.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then
1, 2, 3, 4.
so that's the way that I would do that. Otherwise, like I said, if all those files were in the session view, let's grab all these here. They're all inside the session view like this. Sure, you can drag them all just the same way, like I said, you can export them by dragging them, which is pretty dang simple. But it's just a lot easier, in my opinion, if you want to make sure they're all the same length, is just to go to your session view and select your area, and that's the way I would do it. Alright, thanks.